All right, so let's dive into something I know a lot of you are really interested in.
Okay.
Figuring out NDIS home care services, and specifically with a company called Yirra Care here in Brisbane. We've got some excerpts from their documentation that we're going to be working with.
Excellent.
And we're going to unpack what they offer, how they approach it, and ultimately what makes them stand out.
Yeah, sounds good. We can definitely piece together a clearer picture for you from what we've got.
Perfect. Now, I know you're already familiar with the NDIS National Disability Insurance Scheme, but for anyone just joining us,
Right.
it's essentially Australia's system for supporting people with disabilities.
That's right. And that support comes in various forms. But today, we're zeroing in on how NDIS funding can be used for home care services,
Okay.
helping people live more independently and comfortably at home.
Exactly. So let's talk about Yirra Care's take on these services.
Okay.
They emphasize this person-centered approach. And honestly, that phrase gets thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean in the context of home care?
Yeah, it signals a shift away from a one-size-fits-all model.
Okay.
So instead of just ticking boxes for basic tasks, it's about understanding your individual needs, preferences, and even your goals, and really tailoring the support to fit your life, not the other way around.
Okay, so it's less about just getting things done,
Right.
and more about empowering you to live the life you want with the right kind of support.
Precisely.
Gotcha.
And to get a feel for how that translates into action, let's look at some of the specific services Yirra Care offers.
All right, so they've got the usual suspects, things like personal care assistance with bathing or dressing. But even there, they highlight the importance of dignity and respect, which I think makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. Think about it, even with necessary help, you wouldn't want to feel like your autonomy is being overlooked.
Right.
Yirra Care seems to get that ensuring their caregivers are trained to prioritize your comfort and preferences.
That's really reassuring to hear because it's such a personal aspect of care.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's meal prep, because who wants to be stuck with boring, bland food all the time?
Right, they talk about creating meal plans tailored to dietary needs and preferences.
Right.
So it's not just about sustenance, it's about enjoying delicious and nutritious food that you actually look forward to.
Yeah, and that can seriously impact your quality of life, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's the little things that add up.
Yeah.
Now, they also handle those everyday chores that can become a real burden, household tasks and cleaning.
That's a big one. Imagine you love gardening, but struggle with mobility.
Okay.
Having someone assist with cleaning frees up your energy and time to focus on that passion.
Right.
Yirra Care, taking care of the chores,
Yeah.
means you can pursue what brings you joy.
It's like they're helping clear the path for you to live a richer life. And speaking of keeping active, they offer mobility and exercise support, too. What does that look like in practice?
Well, it could be anything from guided walks to exercises specifically tailored to your abilities,
Okay.
ensuring you stay mobile and active in a safe and enjoyable way. Imagine you're recovering from an injury. They can help you regain strength and confidence in your movement.
So it's not a generic fitness plan, it's personalized support to help you achieve your own goals.
Exactly.
I'm seeing a pattern here,
Yeah.
but it can't just be about ticking off tasks, right?
Right.
What about the broader impact on a person's life? How does Yirra Care approach that?
That's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
They go beyond the practicalities and highlight how their services contribute to overall well-being.
Okay.
Things like promoting independence, ensuring safety and comfort,
Yeah.
and even fostering social interaction.
Okay, let's break those down a bit. What exactly do they mean by promoting independence?
It's about empowering you to maintain control over your daily life, even if you need assistance with certain tasks.
Gotcha.
Think about making choices about your routines, expressing your preferences. They ensure you're the one calling the shots.
That makes sense. So it's about supporting your autonomy and helping you live on your own terms.
Yeah.
And what about the safety and comfort aspect?
Well, assistance with daily tasks can minimize the risk of accidents,
Okay.
especially for those who might be more vulnerable.
Right.
This provides peace of mind, not just for you, but also for your loved ones,
Right.
knowing you're in good hands.
That peace of mind is priceless for everyone involved.
Yeah.
It's not just about the person receiving care, but also their loved ones feeling comfortable and involved. But what about the social interaction piece?
This is where Yirra Care really shines.
Okay.
Their caregivers aren't just there to complete tasks.
Right.
They provide companionship and genuine connection, which is vital for combating loneliness and promoting a sense of belonging.
That's so important, especially for people who might be at risk of isolation.
Yeah.
It's about treating the whole person, not just their physical needs. But how do they ensure that the support is truly tailored to each individual? After all, no two people are exactly alike.
Well, that's where their personalized care plans come in. They start with a thorough assessment to understand your specific needs, preferences, and goals. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach.
So they really take the time to get to know you and what you're looking for.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Based on that assessment, they develop a customized plan that covers everything from personal care to household tasks, ensuring you receive the support you need in a way that works for you.
Okay.
And they don't just hand over a plan and disappear. They emphasize collaboration throughout the entire process.
So they're with you every step of the way, making sure the plan fits seamlessly into your life.
Yeah.
That's great to hear. But what about the caregivers themselves? What kind of qualities do they look for?
Well, they stress the importance of finding caregivers who are not only experienced and professional,
Right.
but also compassionate and respectful. They aim to ensure that your daily interactions are positive and supportive, contributing to a more pleasant experience for everyone involved.
It's not just about skills, it's about the right personality and attitude too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of making things easier, they also understand that navigating the NDIS and funding can be a maze.
Yeah.
So they guide you through every step of that process as well.
Now that you mention it, that can be a huge hurdle for many people.
Oh, yeah.
So they help you figure out if you're eligible for funding, and then they walk you through developing that personalized care plan.
Right.
But what happens after that? How does the plan actually get put into action?
Once the plan is in place, they assist with implementing it and making sure it aligns with your needs.
Yeah.
They don't just create a plan and leave you to figure it out on your own.
They're there to make sure it actually works for you in practice.
Right.
Okay, so for anyone listening who's intrigued by all of this and wants to learn more about Yirra Care specifically, where should they go?
Their website is a great starting point. Loads of information there. And they always encourage people to reach out directly with any questions.
And of course, for general information about NDIS funding and eligibility, the Australian government website is a good resource,
Yeah.
even if it can be a bit overwhelming at times.
Exactly. Having all the facts is crucial before making any decisions.
Well, this has been incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of NDIS home care to Yirra Care's specific approach and services. It's clear they're focused on providing compassionate, personalized care that empowers individuals to live their best lives at home.
I agree. It's been quite enlightening.
I don't know about you, but what really stands out to me is how Yirra Care goes beyond just the functional aspects of care.
Yeah.
They really seem to understand the importance of individual preferences, dignity, and social connection.
What's fascinating to me is how they weave those elements into their services. For example, while they provide practical support, like cleaning and meal prep,
Right.
their focus on social interaction sets them apart.
Yeah.
Loneliness can have a detrimental impact on health,
Yeah.
so their efforts to combat that are crucial.
That's such a good point. It's not just about ticking boxes. It's about seeing the whole person and understanding how those different aspects of life intertwine. And their commitment to personalized care plans seems to be at the heart of that.
Absolutely. It's refreshing to see a provider that recognizes the individuality of each person they serve. And their emphasis on open communication and transparency is reassuring. Knowing that families are kept in the loop and that there's ongoing support throughout the process can really ease any anxieties.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That level of open communication fosters a sense of trust and partnership between the provider, the individual receiving care, and their loved ones.
Right.
So we've explored the what and the how of Yirra Care's approach to NDIS home care services.
Yeah.
But let's shift gears a bit and delve into the why.
You mean, why should someone consider this type of support in the first place?
Exactly. What's the bigger picture here? How can these services truly impact someone's life beyond just the practicalities?
That's the heart of it, right?
Yeah.
It's about understanding that home care services aren't just about checking tasks off a list.
Right.
They're about opening up possibilities.
Okay, help me understand that a bit better. What kind of possibilities are we talking about?
Well, think about it. For someone who struggles with daily tasks due to their disability, those challenges can be incredibly draining, both physically and emotionally.
Yeah.
It's like a constant weight holding them back from pursuing their passions, connecting with loved ones, or simply enjoying life to the fullest.
It's like they're stuck in survival mode, just trying to keep up with the basics.
Exactly. But with the right support, that dynamic can shift dramatically.
Yeah.
Imagine that same person having someone to help with those tasks, freeing up their time and energy.
Okay.
Suddenly they have the space to rediscover hobbies they might have given up on, reconnect with friends they haven't seen in a while, or even pursue new interests they never thought possible.
So it's like a whole new world opens up. A world where they're not defined by their limitations, but empowered to pursue their passions and dreams.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Yirra Care seems to understand this deeply.
Okay.
They highlight a story on their website about a client who, with the help of their support workers, was able to rejoin her local book club.
Wow.
Something she thought she'd never be able to do again.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It's about reclaiming those joys that might have been overshadowed by the challenges of daily living.
That's a powerful example of how these services can impact someone's life on a much deeper level. It's not just about getting things done, it's about fostering a sense of agency and enabling individuals to live a life that's truly meaningful to them.
Yeah,
And that's where Yirra Care's focus on that personalized approach really comes into play, right?
absolutely.
It's about ensuring that the support provided aligns with that broader vision of well-being.
It's about recognizing that everyone's path to a fulfilling life is unique. For one person, it might be about reconnecting with a beloved hobby, while for another, it might be about gaining the confidence to venture out into the community and engage with the world around them.
So it's about supporting people to not just exist, but to thrive, to engage with life on their own terms.
You got it.
Yeah.
And that positive impact extends beyond the individual, reaching their families and communities as well.
Right, because when one person is supported and empowered, that positive energy ripples outwards. It creates a more inclusive and caring environment for everyone. But beyond those feel-good benefits, there are also tangible, measurable advantages to this kind of support, aren't there?
You're absolutely right. Studies have consistently shown that access to home care services can lead to improved health outcomes,
Okay.
reduced hospital admissions, and even increased life expectancy for people with disabilities.
So it's not just about quality of life, it's about quality of care and overall well-being.
Precisely. These services can play a crucial role in preventative health care, ensuring that individuals receive the support they need to stay healthy and avoid complications that might arise from inadequate assistance.
Right.
For instance, Yirra Care mentions how they helped a client with diabetes manage their condition more effectively through tailored meal planning and reminders for medication,
Okay.
leading to improved blood sugar control and reducing the risk of serious health issues down the line.
It's about being proactive and addressing those needs before they escalate into bigger problems. And let's not forget the economic benefits. When people with disabilities are able to live more independently and participate more fully in society, everyone wins.
That's an important point that often gets overlooked. Increased independence can lead to increased workforce participation, boosting the economy and creating a more inclusive and diverse society.
It's a win-win situation all around. So as we start to wrap up our deep dive into Yirra Care and NDIS home care services in general, what's the one key takeaway you hope our listener is walking away with today?
I'd say it's the understanding that home care services are about so much more than just tasks and chores. They're about empowerment, possibility, and creating a life that's rich with meaning and purpose. They're about investing in the well-being of individuals, families, and communities. And ultimately, that benefits all of us.
Beautifully said. And for anyone out there considering these services for yourself or a loved one, I encourage you to take that first step. Do your research, ask questions, and explore what's available. You might be amazed at the possibilities that unfold.
You're absolutely right. Knowledge is power, and taking the time to understand your options can be truly transformative. Now, we've talked a lot about the impact of these services on individuals and families, but I can't help but wonder, what are the broader societal implications here? What could the future look like if these kinds of support systems were more widely accessible and integrated into our communities?
That's a fascinating question, and it begs us to consider what kind of society we want to create, one that truly values inclusion, dignity, and the well-being of all its members, regardless of ability.
It's a big picture question that deserves some unpacking. So let's dive into that next.
Okay, so we've been exploring all these ins and outs of NDIS, home care, especially with Yirra Care.
Right.
But it's really got me thinking, what if this kind of support was like the norm, not the exception? What kind of society could we build?
It's a question worth thinking about.
Yeah.
Imagine communities designed not just for the able-bodied, but for everyone, where participating in daily life,
Right.
regardless of your abilities, is just expected.
Yeah, and not even just out of like a charity thing.
Right.
But because we recognize the value that everyone brings to the table,
Absolutely.
people with disabilities wouldn't be seen as needing to be fixed,
Right.
but as contributors with their own unique strengths.
Exactly. This requires a real shift in how we view disability.
Yeah.
Not as a medical problem to be solved, but as a facet of human diversity.
Okay.
The social model, as it's called, focuses on removing the barriers that society creates,
Right.
rather than trying to change the individual's.
So things like accessible transport workplaces designed for different needs, even just attitudes that are truly inclusive.
Yeah.
That's where the change really happens.
And it's about more than just ticking boxes for accessibility.
Yeah.
It's about fostering genuine empathy.
Okay.
Understanding that normal is a pretty narrow concept.
Yeah.
And expanding it to encompass everyone's way of being.
It's about creating spaces where people don't just tolerate differences,
Right.
but they celebrate them.
Exactly.
Where feeling like you belong isn't conditional on fitting some mold.
And when that happens, the benefits go far beyond just the people directly supported.
Right.
It's like unlocking a whole new pool of talent perspectives, ideas.
Leading to more innovation, more creativity, a society that's richer in every sense.
Precisely. And services like those provided by Yirra Care,
Mm-hmm.
they're kind of the building blocks of that vision.
Okay.
They're not just caring for individuals.
Right.
They're paving the way for a more inclusive future.
By empowering people to live independently, they're really showing us what's possible when we design systems that actually support everyone's participation.
Yeah,
It's pretty powerful stuff.
it is. It's about moving away from thinking of disability as a burden and seeing it as part of the richness of human experience, something that adds to our collective understanding.
This is getting me fired up. It's definitely a future worth working towards, even if it takes time.
Agreed. It's not a utopia that just appears overnight.
Right.
It takes all of us supporting organizations like Yirra Care, advocating for policy changes,
Yeah.
even just small acts of kindness and understanding in our daily lives.
So to everyone listening, I want to leave you with this. Think about the small things you can do to nudge your little corner of the world towards that vision.
It could be as simple as offering a helping hand, really listening to someone's experience, educating yourself about the challenges people face.
Yeah. Every action, however small, ripples outward. And who knows, maybe someday this kind of support won't be something we have to deep dive into.
Right.
It'll just be how things are.
That would be something, wouldn't it? A world where everyone can truly thrive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration.
Absolutely. And until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep building that better world one step at a time.
The power of the disability.